The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
For 1 in 4 Americans, there's probably an intimate secret your partner is hiding from you. They want to get kinky. A new study looking into the details of 2,000 American sex lives found that 1 in 4 Americans in a relationship has a secret sex act in mind that they want to try but have not yet asked their partner. And as many as 40% of Americans claim themselves to be a kinky person.
You kinky thing, you?
I guess. I mean, 40%, that's at least one of us here.
Is there any other kind of sex other than kinky? Come on.
Yeah, Dr. O is our resident sex expert, I think. And being in a marriage for 34 years and a relationship for 36, maybe you can share some of your secrets of how you guys communicate your kinks to each other.
After 30 years, sometimes. After 30 years, you have to work at it a little bit more. But I mean, that's the reason why. You always go to me. So what are my keys for staying married so long? I mean, and that you want to keep your sex life going, and you want to mix it up and.
Yeah. So
I want to pull back a little bit.
But my wife, she goes, why are you saying that? Why are you doing that? You know, you're so used to somebody, and if they pull a weird card out of the deck.
So you're usually the one pulling the weird card.
Yes.
Not your wife.
Yes.
All right, so can we?
Yes, that would be me.
Can we rewind? I have a question for the two of you, because I think it varies widely. How would you even define kinky?
Right. I know. For one person, it's kinky. For another person, it's so normal.
Right. So it's a very bizarre definition of what kinky even is. We found a definition for kinky: involving or given to unusual sexual behavior. Still, what is unusual sexual behavior?
Okay. So, for example, does anybody think biting is kinky? Anyone here?
I think it is kinky.
Because it's different. I mean, biting is not typical part of the normal sexual.
Okay.
Well, I mean, have I ever bit? Sure.
Yeah.
But that's when I was feeling extra kinky.
But see, to Dr. Travis's point, what is kinky defined as? Because over half of the population actually wants their partner to bite them. So people are nodding in the audience. They're like, yeah.
Well, can you give us a little more information? Where exactly?
I know. Maybe that's where the kinkiness starts. I don't know.
So for one person, it may mean doing it in a different location other than your bed. For someone else, it could be doing it on an airplane, in the lavatory, while biting their ear. I don't know. It's all over the place.
Travis, you've thought about this a lot.
And while pulling out the sex toy.
Well, yes. That's right.
That's one thing I've never done is the sex toy on the airplane while I'm biting. Now, you know what?
He didn't do sex toys.
Thank you for making this seed of things.
The best part of that is that occurs. I see Dr. Ordon, and then he leaves the sex toy in the lavatory.
Oh my God.
I've left some of my favorite toys in the hotel rooms, and that's a real bummer when you lose one of your.
But let's talk about the first part of the study, which is a quarter of people have a secret sex act in mind they haven't asked their partner.
Yeah.
Curious. To hide that from your partner, could there be a good element to that, meaning that you're holding on to some fantasies? Because one of the realities in life we know is you sometimes have these fantasies, and then you play them out in real life, and you're like, oh, that's why it was a fantasy. That hurt more than I thought. Or I thought I could do that move, but couldn't.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
Is it good to have maybe that little secret fantasy and just keep it there? And maybe that.
Thinking about it. I mean, thinking about it without sharing it can also be a turn on.
That can be a turn on, but I also would argue that you might want to check it out and communicate it with your partner, because if you hold back, then it's sort of another part of a secret. It could be something that doesn't facilitate communication. And so there's actually studies, for example, that people who tend to experiment with, kind of bondage and sort of, that type of sexual acts, they actually feel like they communicate so much better with all their romantic partners. And so I think there's something to be said about sharing it, but if you know deep down that is just freaking weird, maybe you do keep that to yourself. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of
really
weird stuff out there.
Yeah.
And
like maybe if you
there's
want to
some
have sex
stuff
with
that's just
clowns,
not
I mean,
that would freak me out.